The Carlin Trend in Nevada has over 180 million ounces of gold. Did you know Nevada is the fourth largest mining region in the world? If it were its own country, it would be right after Australia and right before China. Nevada produces about 80% of U.S. gold and 10% of the world's gold.
Hello, my name is Bill Howell. I'm the president and CEO of Rye Patch Gold, and I'd like to welcome you to my office. We're going to show you how Rye Patch Gold is building a sizable inventory of gold and silver resources in the state of Nevada.
I'm Shelley Kraft, and this is Bill Howell, the president and CEO of Rye Patch Gold. Rye Patch, RPM, a public company on the TSX Venture Exchange, and it's a junior exploration company with most of its exploration, if not all, in Nevada, the United States. You're a Canadian company, though.
That's correct. Our headquarters is in Vancouver, Canada, but all of our assets are here in Nevada.
So, Bill, what's your background?
I ran the exploration group for Placer in the Americas, both the U.S. and Latin America, and we were responsible for all the advanced projects, Donlin Creek, Cerro Casale, Pueblo Viejo. So we have had a full gamut of things with from grassroots all the way up through mine operations with the mines at Cortez, Bald Mountain, Getchell, La Coipa.
So how many millions of ounces do you think you were a part of the exploration team on?
Well, like I said, the group here at Rye Patch and I have been together for the last 15 or 20 years, and together we've either been on teams or led teams that have supplied over 80 million ounces of gold, so that's a lot of gold.
So now you have Radu, Ronaldo, and Steve, and also Robert.
And Robert, that's right.
So that's four more geologists, plus yourself. You're a geologist.
I'm a geologist, and the other co-founder, Joe Caggio, he's a geologist as well.
So you're putting your money into finding gold.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think investors, when they look through our financials, they see that almost all the money goes into finding and identifying gold.
What makes Rye Patch stand out amongst all of the other junior mining companies that are out there? And I think there's about 1,700 of them.
You know, we find gold, we do it fairly efficiently. We've taken the company from basically nothing to 4 million ounces of gold equivalent in 3 years, all 43-101 compliant. I don't think you'll find other companies that can talk about 3 or 4 great projects that are in their portfolios, let alone, so I think that's what sets us apart. This was our flagship property. We actually founded the company on the Wilco property, acquired it back in 2006, and IPO'd as our property of merit in 2007.
So are you going to continue to do any more?
Yeah, there's, the mineralization is still open. Obviously, as we learn more about the property, we are finding higher grades, and there are other targets to address on the property. It's quite a large property. It's over 14 square miles. So Radu is the chief geologist here on the property, and he's mapped the whole property and has come up with some major new ideas. Right now we're standing on this hill right here, and the leach pad is to the back of me. This is represented by this pattern right here. The resource area that we're looking at, the old pits, are up in here, and this is our new resource in this red line, and it's still open going this way. In addition, we've got another resource area that we call Colado, which is this area up here with the red outline. So between the two resource areas, there's 2.3 million ounces of gold on the property in the measured, indicated, and inferred categories. And as I said, there's a number of other targets still available on the property. Geology is the foundation of everything in the mining business. So without good geology, you can't have good ideas, you can't have the kinds of success rates that we're having. I mean, finding gold at $1.25 an ounce is almost unheard of, right? I mean, it's just a credit to these guys how good they are and the ideas they come up with and how good they are. You know, there's a lot of explorers out there, but eventually you have to find. So, and I think that's what you need to look for if you're an investor in any company. You need to make sure that they're delivering on what it is they're promising to deliver on.
$1.25, what does that relate to?
That means, you know, we've spent over $6 million on our projects and delivered over 4 million ounces of gold. So if you just do the math, you'll see that that's $1.25 an ounce.
Now the reason that we drill first chips is because you drill a hole with chips much faster and almost 10 times less expensive. So basically you discover gold with rotary drilling, and then if there is gold over there, then you go farther and you spend more money actually to have in your hands the untouched by drilling rock.
Where are we? It looks like we're on the moon.
This is the east-west drop hit here at Wilco, and this was mined by Western States back in the late 80s, early 90s. And you can see the floor of the pit, see how it starts turning kind of gray? That's why this pit doesn't go any deeper. So we set up some drill holes just up here. There's 3 holes at about between 10 and 30 feet under the pit. We picked up another oxide zone or another zone of red rocks. So they stopped because they thought they were out of oxide. But there was just a thin lens here of non-oxidized rock, and underneath is another oxidized zone. And this is the start of our section line discovery right here. Again, that's all we did was come up with a new idea, drill the holes a little bit deeper, try to understand the structure a little better, and that led to our new discovery at section line. So this would be an example of some of the oxidation we see around here, and what we see in the drill holes. You can see all the reds, oranges, and yellows.
What we're looking at now is for 8 more miles?
The surface exposure goes to the north, roughly about 5 miles that we've mapped it out, and we've mapped it to the south about another 8 miles. And so that's given us some other ideas and some new target areas that we'll follow up. Right smack dab in the middle of the Jessup property. Here we're on the southwest end of the Oriana Trend. Off in the distance behind us, that's the main part of the Jessup deposit. I mean, what you'll see in everything that Rye Patch does, it's in places where there's old mines or old mining. And the old adage, the best place to find a new mine is near an old mine. It holds up every time. All you got to do is have some different ideas. You know, we're not looking for, you know, we'd like the whole thing to be 1 ounce if we could, but we're not looking for 1 ounce veins. We're looking for a larger open pitable deposit. And so, you know, that's going to be something that's in the 0.5 gram to 1 gram range.
I know you're an important cog in the wheel. Now, how long do you go back with Bill?
I started work with Bill in 1996 for Placedome in Brazil, and we work in Iron Quadrangular, Greenstone Belt, and then he transferred me to Amazon. We look at several garimpos in Amazon, and since then we keep working together.
Well, between San Jacinto and the North Jessup, there's about 500,000 ounces of gold equivalent. So here we're driving down into the San Jacinto area. You can see, you know, pretty good access around the property. Not only access from the freeway, but access from the property itself.
Well, it looks like they're doing some work unloading the rig or something.
Now that's our drill rig. It just finished its program at Jessup, and they're loading them up to take them over to Lincoln Hill. He'll dump it into the other rig on the other side, which is the four-wheel drive one. left shoulder is the Rochester Silver Mine, and it's the largest open pit silver mine in the western U.S. And you can see it's pretty close to our Lincoln Hill property. We're sitting on Lincoln Hill right now. They've produced over 125 million ounces of silver there, and they've got about another 40 or 50 million ounces left to go. So we're in a pretty good spot for silver, and of course we've got a lot of gold here at Lincoln Hill as well.
We're about 7,000 feet above sea level. Remember that rig we saw down lower? Well, today it's up here and it's drilling.
This is actually an extension of our existing resource at Lincoln Hill, which was released earlier this year, actually in June. So this is one of the open-ended areas of the resource that we've set up on here. There's two guys on the rig. One is the driller, one is the drill helper, and the third person is the sampler. And the first, the driller, we saw him open up the chuck of the top drive and put a pipe on. And we put two pipes. Each pipe is 10 feet in length. So we put two pipes on and rotted up 20 feet of pipe. We sample every 5 feet, so in that 20-foot piece of pipe, there's going to be 4 samples. What happens is, once he rods up and pressurizes the pipe is called dual wall pipe, and there's an inner pipe and an outer pipe. And the outer pipe you can see, and there's a space between the inner pipe and the outer pipe. Air goes down between the inner and the outer pipes, and it charges up a hammer, a pneumatic hammer, that hits the rock and breaks it into little pieces. Those little pieces then are pushed up by the air, and about 5 feet above the hammer is a hole in the pipe, and that hole is about that big in kind of an oval shape. Those chips go inside that hole and come up the inner pipe. And they come up the inner pipe and through that big hose and out through what's called the cyclone. And at the bottom of the cyclone, it's cordoned off so that we get an exact split. So we don't need all of the sample, so we try to split, half the sample or a quarter of the sample. So in this case, we're taking about a half the sample. It goes into a bag and is collected. And on the other side, we collect some chips in a berry strainer. Those chips for the berry strainer are our character samples that we log. So those go to the geologist. They describe the color, the rock types, the alteration, and that goes into a log and then eventually into a computerized database. The other sample goes into a 5-gallon bag that sits out here in the sun, and the water kind of evaporates off till all that's left are the solubles inside the bag. And that's what's taken to the assay lab, and the assays are done. We have about 10 million ounces of silver, about 300,000 ounces of gold that we've reported as a 43101 compliant resource. And right now, these drill holes are looking to expand that resource as well as follow up on some additional targets. So I think it's all good.
That's it from Lincoln Hill. Thank you, men. I take my hard hat off. Thanks for bringing us up to Lincoln Hill.
We're about 10 miles north of our Garden Gate Pass property, and you can see we're right along the Cortez Trend here. And our property, that's the reason we like it, is we're along this trend. There are big gold deposits here, and we hope to take that early stage project and make a discovery with our drill program that'll happen next spring. Target we've liked for a long time. So the address is the right address. When it got brought to our attention, we jumped on it because we've been looking at this place for about 10 years.
So if you had to speculate, where do you think you're going to drill?
Right where we're parked.
We are in the right spot.
You're in the right spot.
2 grassy patches. There's one.
Now, what's Steve's expertise?
Steve's, well, I know all about to the south here for about 20 miles.
So you're the local expert.
On that end of it, yeah.
I got it.
Radu's on that end, I'm on that end, this is kind of in the middle.
This is claiming mineral title to this piece of ground here that's 300 by 600, and of course in this property there's 153 of them. They're all contiguous, so we've claimed about 5 square miles.
Hey Bill, why'd we stop here? What are you about to do?
There's 15 million ounces of gold just on the backside of this hill, and I was seeing some of these calcite veins here. And if you recall, Radu was telling you, we're not really sure sometimes whether we're above it, off to the side, or it's near, or it's far away. Well, with that deposit so close, I want to go over here and take some samples of this vein and see if I can say, okay, if you're off on the side of 15 million ounces, this might be the signature of that kind of deposit.
Bill, don't let me stop you.
Okay.
Have fun.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a bag and send it off to an assay lab for some geochemical determinations. And we'll look at the values of gold, arsenic, and other elements. And then we'll try to make up a kind of a geochemical model of what it looks like around the deposit. So we know gold is over there and X kilometers or miles away. Gold looks like this over here. And that might be able to use as a vector that goes back to the deposit. So there, that'll be enough to do a geochemical orientation for this one location, and we'll just see what's in it.
Sounds good to me.
The Carlin Trend was the big daddy of trends. And what's happened here over the last 10 years around Cortez is they're starting to find lots and lots of gold. Pipeline was found in '92. Cortez Hills was found in 2001. Together, those things have about 35 million ounces of gold just between the two of them. There's some other deposits around here and some new discoveries. That's why we think our Garden Gate Pass property has a lot of promise. These are character samples from some of the past drill programs. So the 2007, 2008, 2009 programs are all here by project, organized by project. So here's the character samples that we collect, and that's what they look like. So
these are all little pieces.
These are all little pieces that we collect for our records, and we go back and review them when we get the assay sheets.
So this is good color as...
Exactly. So this is all oxidized material here. This is core from our Lincoln Hill property. Occasionally you pick up these veins, and you can see all that sparkly material in there. That's actual gold. I believe this sample ran about 21 ounces to the ton.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a really big number.
That is a big number.
I could see the gold.
Yeah, that's it. The drill is the truth machine. We do a lot of our own geologic mapping, and we draw a lot of cross sections. And at the end of the day, we really can't see into the earth. We need the drill machine to tell us what's down there and tell us if there's gold there.
What is the typical exit strategy, both for the team and also for investors in your traditional junior exploration company?
Right. There's basically two sort of business models for a junior mining company. The first model might be what's called the project generator model. So that's where a group of or a company goes out. They acquire a number of what I'll call two-dimensional exploration plays. They may have taken some rock samples or done some mapping, and they try to get a joint venture partner. Now, that's a great model. They don't spend a lot of money, but then they don't get a lot of value at the end, because whoever's going into the property ends up getting 70 or 80% of the property, and they're left, that's generally the deal, kind of a 70-30, 80-20 deal on the property. Our business model is what I would call a project developer. So we actually go out, we do the work, we build the ounces in the ground, we build value in each property. Every share, if you will, of rye patch is backed by some amount of gold in the ground. So in that case, if you start to look at market caps, you see in the joint venture or the prospect generator group, you might see market caps between 4 million, and if they're really good, up to 50 million. In the project development group, you might see market caps starting at 50 million, going all the way up to $1 billion. Mm-hmm. So that's the group that we want to be in. Every ounce in the ground has a value to it. It's option price to the gold price. If you think gold is going to $200, then you probably shouldn't have a look at any mining company. But if you think as gold is going to $2,000, you should have a look at rye patch, and I think you see some real value there.
What's your message to your investors, and what's your message to new investors?
Yeah, my message, I like to think about the 6 Ps of quality.
So in the case of Rye Patch, we've got people. We've got some real good explorationists. We've got what I like to say large cap management in a small cap company. We've got projects. The projects have 3 million ounces of gold and 40 million ounces of silver. We've got progress. We continually advance those projects to the next level, and we continue to expand the resources on those projects. Potential, obviously, I think the Oriana Trend has lots of potential. I mentioned 20 to 30 million ounces. And that's, we're sitting here with 3 million ounces or 4 million ounces of gold equivalent. That's a pretty good start on that.
And that's today.
That's today. What I also like is, I call it a P word because I spell it PH, but it's financing. We're a well-funded company for a junior company. We have $6 million in the bank, and so we're looking pretty well right now. And place, Nevada is a great place to work. It's a mining-friendly state. There's not a lot of problems. You go through a process, you're going to get permitted. You go through a process, you can have a mine.
So, Bill, we were on or near all of your properties.
That's correct. We stepped a foot on every property except for the Gold Ridge property.
I want to thank you, Bill, for giving us the opportunity to come and follow your company, Rye Patch Gold, RPM, on the TSX Venture Exchange.